Okay, hey everybody. I hope everyone's had a good morning so far. Mine, well, nothing's really happened for me yet, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Alright, so today we're going to be continuing with what we were doing yesterday and mostly try and test a bunch of loose ends on the reconnect system. So we can see a few things we need to do. We need to, of course, clean up the listeners and handlers. We need to test. One thing I forgot is we have to test disconnects after a ready check. We want to test the disconnect before all of the synchronizing wait phases. For example, yeah, like here, we need to test synchronizing. Well, mostly we need to test this and make sure that the game still runs correctly if we have to go into the start wait phase. Let's see. Okay, and then we're gonna go through reconnection after a client crash, which in order we're going to have to make it so that the client can download the current state of the game from the server. But we'll also be using that system for loading save files, so it'll actually be a double use there. And then here's some other netcode things we need to do before we move on. So I'm hoping that we'll finish most of this today, so let's get started right on it now. Okay, so I remember there was a bug happening where the game wasn't loading all the way through. Okay, so it's gonna wait for a second player. Just go ahead and build the second player. Sorry, the first time always takes a little bit longer. It's almost done here. Alright. Oh, hi King Finalosis. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Alright, so I need to start the editor, which will serve as a host. Okay, so we got this null reference exception. Okay. Debug, testing file generator, 54, so let's see what that is. Okay, yeah, so the lobby, so the slots didn't get initialized, which is a bit strange. Hi King, is my mic's not mute. My mic isn't muted. Alright, so let's see. So request of parameters. We do, yeah, register here. We call this copy from message. Okay, so maybe I'll print out exactly what happens there. This is kind of redundant. I first create a new list and then clear it. so let's bug log. I guess we'll log an error so it'll show up in the client. I'll just say number of clients. Client slots to be more precise. Okay, let's see what that prints out. Because obviously it's not being, well, maybe it's not being set correctly. So, well, it went a bit too fast for me. So let's look at the log. Client connection. Validating. Switch is connected. Okay, so here's the loading started. So we should have got it somewhere before that. So it goes straight from requesting the parameters to ready check. Actually, it requests the phase first. Why is that? Because local C is host get params. Otherwise, it should do syn params first. Let's see, did the editor have that number of slots message? Start server. Client message set poly parameters. Okay, so is it requesting the phase and the parameters at the same time? It's a bit strange. Let's see. Correct, I think. Oh, okay. I think this onGet params needs to make sure that we don't set it to ready until the state is synchronized. Oh yeah, so we call this synchronize right here, so that's the problem. Need to call it down here. Oh yeah, that was spooky music, huh? And then if state equals... There we go. So I just forgot to do that. Did I forget to do it in the other controllers, I wonder? Okay, so yeah, this starts on the get phase, so that's fine. So if state equals get phase wait, and then the last one's here. Alright, so let's see how far along we get now. Oh, and then this request phase, we don't have to send that message anymore. And yeah, so I don't call that function there. Do a video on finding copyright-free music for streams, so that actually wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I just use the Overclocked Remix. It's a really good website that has a bunch of video game remixes, and you're allowed to use their music in streams as long as you put a link back to the website. So. Okay. Using Rainwave? No, it's this program called Essential Now Playing. Is what I use to get the text from a YouTube video. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so now everything went through. Alright, so that's great. So now I can test. There are some other things. So let's just start at the top of the list. Actually, I don't really want to do that right now, so I'll test this part. Okay, so yeah, this is old. Now we actually want to test when we receive a message from the server. Instead of actually acknowledging it, we'll just like disconnect. Okay, so ready, check type. Well, no, we don't need to watch that. Basically, all we'll do is that, yeah, if this is true, then instead of calling repeat help or active, okay, so test params, current. If we're not the host, then we'll just disconnect right here. Okay, that's not the right thing. Force stop client. And what should happen is we'll disconnect the server will have already progressed to the next phase, so we'll disconnect, and then when we reconnect, we'll see the servers ahead of us, skip the ready check, and move on. So let's see if that's what actually happens. Okay, so we got that far. Okay, so it's not letting me choose something. So what's going on here? Okay, so what I'll do is switch around the host and the client and see if we can figure out what's going on there. Alright, so resources. Now the head editor will be the client. So that way I can have an easier look at everything that's going on. So what's this? Okay, no, that's okay. Request all actions. So for some reason thanks for the host, Scorpio Illuminati, I appreciate it. So let's see. For some reason I guess the game is thinking that the server is not in sync because it skipped straight ahead to the request all actions phase, which would have happened. And thanks for following, Scorpio Illuminati. It would have happened like this. Oh, you stream development too? Okay, I'll have to check it out. Alright, so what happened is we entered in and then well, actually, choice phase, request all actions. Alright, so we were connected, so then we had to start choosing, and then it saw that the connection was not in sync, which is actually what we checked here. Sync check, choice actions calculation is none. Okay, so what we have to do... Okay, I think I know what's going on here. Alright, so the connection manager needs to set this synchronize flag to true when we load in. Or does it already? Actually, I think that whenever we load into this scene, we should always just get the phase, actually. So let's try that and see what happens. Because I guess one thing that could happen is that if you're trying to join a game, maybe the game could complete while you're loading, and then you wouldn't be in the play phase anymore, so it's just safe to get this right away. So let's try that. So I can move here. Okay, so it says I'm this player now. Okay, so is it working? It's doing that. It's stepping through every phase now. Disconnect. So now we're on the final check for ordering. It looks like it's going through just the wait time before we try to reconnect is not long enough because the server always refuses us the first time. So it's taking a little longer than it should, but I'm just going to let it play through. So now we're on end of turn FX execute. Now it's in the status. Okay, where is it now? Okay, so now it's back to the beginning. So yeah, we did do a complete turn, disconnecting after a ready check, and it still went through all the way. Alright, so that's good to know. Okay, so yeah, we'll just always get the phase when we enter this scene, just to be safe. Now we can get rid of this test here. Let's comment it out in case we need it later. What site? Oh, this is called Asana. Yeah, right up here. It's really good for like to-do lists and project management. Oops, sorry, knocking the mic. Okay, so next up, we need to test disconnect before the sync wait phases. And unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be an easy way just to do it for all the game at once. Yeah, Trello's very good as well. I've just been using Asana for a long time, so I haven't switched over, but I'm sure Trello is just as good. So what we want to do here is, instead of checking if it's disconnected, we just do something like this. So if test params current.isHost equals false. Then we want to force disconnect the client. And hopefully this will work right away. And then we'll need to do that also down here. But I guess I'll just make sure this works before I do that. But also I want to fix this timer. For some reason it seems to not be reset correctly. Okay, well that's okay. Okay, so reconnect timer, I do set it to 0 right here, so exactly sure why. Seems to not respect it. Debug log. Oh, I got Unity engine. Debug log. Reset timer. And let's see. Engine, debug, log, restart client, and now we can see exactly what's going on with the timing there. Okay, so I'll just run it one time. So what should happen is the game will enter into the map and then like immediately disconnect. Hopefully it'll be able to reconnect correctly. Did it disconnect? So reset. Okay, so it did. Yeah, the turn start and then connection phase to none. So reset the timer. Let's see, I'm trying to find a choice phase to see what it's at. Okay, I start wait. Okay, so it's resetting the timer a bunch, but it doesn't make much difference. Okay, and then we reconnected. Okay, so that time went fine, and it seems like everything's still good. Let's try to run through a turn just to make sure. Okay, and then we got disconnected again. But yeah, it still ran through okay. Alright. Okay, so we got this first one tested, so let's move it down here to this final wait before the final ready check. I guess really I could just, so we don't have to rebuild the client a bunch of times, I could go ahead and test it on all of the phases. Execute right there. And then for the action ordering, I think it's got 2 as well. And finally for the end of turn status. Oops. Alright, so let's see what happens here. The game's gonna disconnect pretty much all the time, kind of like I did before, but it's at a slightly different time, so there's slightly different logic. Okay, start everything up. Okay, so it's walking through. Again, it's going to be a bit slow. Okay, but we got to the execute actions right there. So ordering phase, start wait. So now it's at the end of turn effects ordering. And now, where is it? Final wait for execution. So now it's just got to do the end of turn status. This is the last one. Okay, yeah, and it did work all the way through that. Alright, so I think that's all the testing we have to do so far, is like disconnect and reconnect, so it's good to see. So let me go through and comment out everything here. And the last one is in the choice phase. Alright. Okay, so now what else do we have? So reconnection during a client crash. Maybe I should test these listeners first while I'm thinking about it. So, for any global component, which is a component that sticks around for the entire game, when we dispose of the controller, we have to make sure that we also get rid of any listeners that it added to messages. And I think I had been forgetting to do that, so the easiest way to fix it is to go in these global components and then just look here. So I don't think the local connection has any. Okay, so local connection is not in the networking, is it? Okay, yeah, so it doesn't have any events, so we don't have to worry about that. Connection helper. Wait, this doesn't even exist anymore, does it? Yeah, so we can get rid of that. Now, our connection watcher does have things, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it has this connection state. Okay, so let's see. Yes, right here where it subscribes. Oh, but this is the server phase synchronizer is also global, so that doesn't matter. Okay, so what we need to do instead of subscribing like this, we need to create controller activatable list, add something called a listener janitor, which basically just cleans up a listener. First is the subscribable, the first argument, and the second argument is the listener. That's not correct. So one more parenthesis. It's a little clearer if I do that. And then also the validation requester. Well, that's also a global component, so it's okay. Game phase. Because it just sets that. I'm not even sure. Well, I guess I'll leave it around, but I don't know if we'll actually need this. Because we kind of just go by the server and not the actual game. But yeah, we can leave it for now. Server config. Yeah, we don't use that anymore. Okay, yeah, so this happens when the client info changes. Might as well just add that message right here. So private message on change. Don't need to be able to set that. Nothing actually uses it yet, so what's that? Connection message broadcaster. So we gotta get rid of this because it doesn't exist anymore. We can just call the clients on change. So far we haven't really had to change much. Okay, so here there's a bunch. Okay, so what we have to do here is activatable list, add. I'm surprised we haven't had any bugs so far, to be honest. Simple. No, it's not simple. It starts hi listener. Ready, check message. And then for the first argument, we put this. And here's the second argument. Parentheses should do the trick. Okay, I'm gonna copy this code because I think, yeah, all of these classes use the same thing. This one looks slightly different. Okay, so we actually do controller to activatable list and then controller game components. Alright. And then the last one is a phase synchronizer, which we have this that we have to take care of. Okay, but I already did that here, so that's good. And need to add one here. Okay. So controller.activatable list, add new listener. Oh, can I spell it? Okay, so it's just a simple listener with no arguments. So this should do the trick. Alright. And that's all the global components. Map components. Let's see. So the map phase is kind of separated into the team building and the play phase. So there could be something here, but doesn't look like it. We don't even use that anymore. Actually, this mouse pick could be something. Okay, so this doesn't subscribe, it actually sets. Okay, and it doesn't subscribe either, so. We're all good. Okay, so now all that is set up. So now I just need to change. How do I want to do this? I guess I just need to create another actually, I wonder, can you even unregister a handler? I completed this part. If I need to do these netcode handlers, as you can see, let's clean this up a little bit. For instance, in this lobby controller, when we exit the lobby scene, we should also get rid of this handler registration, but I don't even know if Unity lets you do that. Let's see, instance, client, unregister. Oh, okay, they do have unregister handler. Okay, so I just need to make some kind of little helper. So public static void un. Client unregister handler. Okay, so we don't even really need to have that. This delegate, we just need to know the message key. Okay, so instance cached client handlers dot remove the message code. And then if instance client does not equal null, we also need to unregister the handler on the client. Okay, and then I can copy this for the server. Right here. It calls out the network server is active. Okay, then I just put network server. Okay, and so now I should have a helper that will allow me to do that easily. I can just call it handler janitor or something. Let's say net message handler, janitor. Okay. And actually, I'll just go ahead and add this. So this will just be for the client, because the server, the way it works is all messages are always active. So it doesn't actually need this class. So move it up here. Okay, so what would we pass here? I guess we pass the message key, and then also the delegate, which is here. So we'll need to cache both of those. Private network message delegate. Okay. And then this will also need to subscribe from the iActivatable. Or not subscribe, implement. So return active, and here's where the magic happens. So if active, oops, I don't know why I typed active twice, or if twice, does not equal value, so then if value, then we need to say unity link register, client register handler. Otherwise, we call it unity link client unregister handler. And then this active equals value. Okay, I guess you don't have to pass the handler there. Okay, so and then when we dispose, we just set the handler to null. And well, first we should say active false. So that should be good enough. And I guess I'll put the key to 0. Okay, so should be all we have to do. And now I just need to look in the Unity link. Basically see every time this client register handler is used, and then see if we need to add this janitor. Okay, so server face synchronize no, message broadcaster no, because those are both global components. Error check manager, where is this? So it is on the play controller, so yes. But really this error should kind of be a global thing. Know that we'll need it. Okay. I'll come back to that. Actually, we know we have to do this here. Server receives error message. Update error. Oh, let's see. Play error handler. Change net handler to the global broadcast. Kind of like we do for ready checks. So I'll just pass over that for now. This is the validation requester, so that's okay. that's okay. Yeah, so mostly it's just these request turn actions we need to do. Okay, so activatable. Oh wait, it's a controller activatable list. Add new net message. Okay, why is it not showing up? Handler janitor. I guess because we're not using the client namespace. And then I can really just copy and paste this. Okay, and okay, yeah, we should use that here as well. Here. Right, this is status server request. When does this happen? Oh, it's the end of turn status, okay. Finally, this last one is ordering phase, so yeah, we need to do that. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's all we have to do. Let's play once and see. Oh, there's an error. What? Why are there two classes? This has happened before. I think Visual Studio and Unity don't play well when trying to move classes around. Yeah, they left this empty net message handler janitor right here, so I can just delete it. Okay, it should be fine now. So let's see if it'll go through one turn. And it does. Alright, so that means nothing broke horribly. Good. Yeah, so the only thing I need to do is go back to this error check manager. But we can do that maybe later today. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is try to reconnect after a crash. And I think that we're pretty much ready to test that out. So I need to switch to letting the editor be the host again. Alright, I forgot to build the second player. Alright. Okay, I think it's that timing issue again. It's just because right now the lobby scene is very hacky. Well, maybe not something that's going wrong. So ready to check. I was trying to get out of the lobby, but what's going on here? Okay, so there it goes. Okay, so now what I want to try and do is if I close the client and then restart it as if it crashed, it should just load right into the game without waiting for ready checks. Oh, and it does. Perfect. Will it let me move now? Let's see. Yeah, and everything works fine. Okay, so another thing, and this is a problem that we're going to try and fix now, is if I crash at this point and reload. You can see we're out of sync now because this client is still at the beginning of the game and this client has progressed one turn. So basically what we have to do is the server needs to keep track of all actions and then they can provide it to the player. So it's not even gonna work actually now that I think about it. The problem with this game in general is that there's so much hidden information that we kind of have to rely on our own data to be able to load back in. So maybe the best thing to do would just be if someone crashes, everyone should just go back into the lobby and load from a save file. Because, let's see here. Because for instance, like, you wouldn't know, or say if player 2 crashed, player 2, however they set up their monsters is probably a secret from everyone else, and they don't want to tell that to the server because then the host would know that information. So, for instance, so player 2 can't rely on the server to give them information back. So, I mean, they could have the host be able to provide them with all actions that have happened so far, but you'd still have to load from a save file because you'd have your own information. So yeah, that maybe we won't even need to do this. Maybe if you reconnect from a crash, everybody just needs to load back into the lobby. if that's the case, maybe I need to do this save and load to a file right now. So we could do that, or we could move on to Lua scripts. So we've got to do these timers. So let's see. Okay, so what would happen? Yeah, if one player just completely crashed during a game, then I guess people would need to. Well, I mean, they'd have to roll back to the beginning of the turn probably, because that's when the file would be updated. And then I guess also they just have the option not to play with that person if they were trying to cheat. And I'm trying to think of exploits that could happen due to this. But I think that since there's hidden information, there's not a better way to do it, because since this game won't have a dedicated server that's separated from everyone, we can't have the server store information about every player. Alright, so yeah, let's move. So basically I think the reconnection from the host and a client crash could be slightly different, because maybe for a client crash the other people don't have to all exit the game, but you have to make sure you load a file. Oh, well no, because... Well, I guess if you loaded a file from the beginning of the turn, when you load in, you could then ask the server for the actions and stuff that have happened that single turn. Okay, so yeah, that is fine. But yeah, if the host crashes, then everybody just needs to reload, I think. Regardless, we need to do the save and load file first. So we gotta reshuffle a bit. And then here, yeah, during loading we'll have to simulate the actions that's saved in the file. Which won't be that difficult, but I think we should get that architecture up and running sooner rather than later. Timers and disconnection to an AI. These won't be that difficult to add later, so I could maybe move them down to reminders if we want to move on. And then the errors we should probably take into account. At least update the error manager. Okay, so let's start on this. So, save file will need to have basically the state of all of your monsters at the beginning of the game. And then it would have all actions that have been taken, basically. And then we simulate those actions to update the state of all the monsters as well as the map. So let's see. I guess the question is, do we want to have... Let's just add in data. I'll have a save file class. I'm just going to try and do the skeleton of it right now. I'm sure it will change as we progress with the game. So I don't think... I guess we could just save the monsters right as they are, but because there's no dictionaries in here. Noble values need to be saved. All we'd have to do is save the knowledge type and then the actual value, so that's probably okay. But it might be safer to actually have a separate class to try and separate the two object types. Let's allow the save monster. Maybe we should just have another namespace, so I'll have to prepend everything with save. I don't know. Maybe we just have save monster and save field and save action. These will be public as well as serializable. Save, please. Also serializable. So basically we have an array of save monster. And then an array of save. Oh no, just not an array, it's a save field. Save action, which would be all the actions. And then maybe we'd have like, I don't know, the turn number. We might also need save player. Actually, I think we will need it because at the very least we'll need to save the AI script index. Don't necessarily have to save the team here, but I guess it doesn't make much difference. So let's go ahead and add that. So and then probably also we should have the int to say who the local player is. Alright, so yeah, this is probably going to be a kind of big project, but I hope that we'll just be able to work on it incrementally. And I think it will be useful because even if we didn't want to allow reconnections from crashes, the system will also allow us to have replays, which are pretty important for strategic games like this. Okay, so any other information that we need, we can of course modify this file as needed. Right, so what would be the best way to create this file? So basically it would be created at the end of every turn, and also at the end of the team build phase, probably. So let's just create. This will be in the map namespace. Save file compiler. And of course we might need to greatly, like, this file could get really big, so we might need to try and separate it out. But for now I'll just worry about that in the future. So map controller. I think the only information it's going to need really is the battle. So public, oh, that's not about to. Battle equals controller, game, components. So the global comp. Battle. Oh, right, I did this wrong again. So get, there we go. And then I'll also probably need to register this. So controller, components, register. So map components. Save file compiler. Okay, and then public. So maybe we don't register it. We can actually register as a query. That'd be better, maybe. And we'll just return a save file object, and some other class can actually serialize it. So we return a save file here. And now this should be private. Okay. So I'm not going to try and do everything just yet. So one interesting thing I just realized is we actually need to cache like the beginning, like the initial monsters and stuff, because the battle actually has like the current monsters. So let's see. So in this class we actually have something that's like battle log. Because that's basically what it's going to do. It's going to log all the actions it's have taken, as well as remember the initial stats of the monsters. But it probably... Okay, so let's see. It could also be built in the loading scene. So I think the best thing to do, it would be just have it in the data. And then we can have something like public player. Let's see. And we have like start players and then start monsters, start field, actions. And then maybe a turn number. We might not actually need the turn number here because we can get that, because the battle will actually have that. It does not at this point, but I guess I can go ahead and add it. Because this has like the current battle state. Yeah, so that's the difference between here, is the battle will have the actual current battle state. The battle log basically holds everything that's happened in the battle so far. And we need to keep track of this because this save file will need it. I guess there's really not much reason to have it like this. We could just use a save player. That way we'll only have to serialize or transform a normal monster into a save monster right as the game starts, instead of every time we have to save the file. So yeah, I think that will be good. And the reason that the battle log has to be separate from the save file itself is because the battle log will continue to change, but the save file is like a static version that we actually load to and from the file. Okay, so that actually makes this save file compiler quite a bit simpler. Let's get battle log, not lob. So global components. Okay, so create the new save file, and we can actually just copy players straight from the log, and as well as monsters and fields. Can we even do that for actions? Got actions, then to array. So why is it not like that? Save field. Okay, for some reason I did this in an array of fields, but there's only ever one. And then the file turn number is the battle.turn number. Okay, yeah, this little triple dot. Okay. And then we return this save file to be compiled by somebody, or to be serialized to by somebody. Okay, so I did have this local player, but I'll delete it for now because I think we actually need it, because here in the players we'll have like the player username, so we can just see who the local player is based on that. Although maybe we'll need to see. I'm just thinking that, yeah, whoever the local player is who we have all of the information about, so it is kind of important. Because you couldn't like give this save file to some other player and then have them use it to load up the game. That wouldn't work. So I think it is pretty important that we do have that information. So let's see. I guess we'll just call it as player maybe. But I don't know if we actually know how we'll find that out just yet. Because how do we know what the local player is? Do we just loop through everything to find it? Let me see. Okay, yeah, we do loop through. It's not like that's that difficult to do. Then file.asPlayer equals p. Okay, so that's all we have to do there. Now we need another save file writer. Okay. Map controller. Let's see, what do we need to do here? So we'll need a private void write save file, and maybe a string. No, I don't think. I think this file would be, or this class would be what would figure out the name for the file based on some preferences the player set. So let's have controller components get or register command save file map components So actually the save file writer, it'll just call the query itself. That'll make it a little easier. Save battle. Save current battle. I don't know. Let's just say create save file. Okay, so that's command create. Handler equals right. Okay, and then we'll generate, and then it's gonna, we're gonna need to get the update usings. Okay, so now that this file is going to handle getting it, we'll need to cache the query. So compile file equals get or register okay, so yeah, save file compiler. So now that's all set up. Alright, so okay, so I guess first we need to save file. And then we also need the file name. Let's actually call it file path. We'll just have a separate function do that. We can come back to that. Okay, so using I always forget the name of all these. So using system input output. Okay, so I think there's a stream writer. Not sure if that's the right one, but we'll go with it for now. Buffered stream. And then new. So new stream writer. New buffer stream and then new file stream. Don't know how it works. Get it mixed up with Java. Okay, so file mode. I think open or create, and then file access. Right. Okay, so what this does, well, it creates a stream writer, which this lets you write the data, and then the buffered stream increases the reliability, efficientness of the stream by letting this operating system grab a bunch of the file or write a bunch of the file at once instead of bit by bit. And then the file stream obviously just opens up the file. And this open or create file mode. Let me It's kind of self-explanatory. It will open the file if it exists, otherwise it will create a new one. Okay, so all we have to do here is just say write. Oh, that's not right. Writer. Okay, so it's only. Okay, no, it has to do an object. Alright. So then we just write data. So this will write the save file as just a binary file, which is not readable by humans. Which has pros and cons. It's going to make testing it harder, but it will make editing the file more difficult. I mean, we could try and write it as XML, and then if we really want to try and make the file difficult to edit, we could what did it say? Like encrypt it or something. But I think just for now, as we're trying to get this working, we can just use this method. I have used XML before, but we even used it in moddable chess, so we know it's not that difficult to get up and running. In fact, maybe I will do it right away, because then we could kind of create XML files on the fly to test. Okay, yeah, so let's try it. So, using system XML serialization. And let's pull up some code from the tactical, or from moddable chess, so that way we can really look and see how that worked. So assets, scripts, mods. Okay, yeah, this XML loader. This should be what we need. Yeah, so this is deserialized, but the serialized is about the same. Okay, so loaded type, yeah, it needs a type that you want to serialize, and we're going to try and serialize type of save file. So this is create new, and we'll have the file path. Okay, so we're not going to deserialize, we're just going to serialize. Okay, and we'll keep these errors in case, although I don't know, probably not sure exactly what we'll do to handle this. Let's just call debug log error. Okay, so XML failed to serialize save file. actually just... Maybe you can just log exception. Which will just reprint the exception here. But it won't actually like freeze the execution of the game code. Okay, so yeah, this I think will be better. We might have to do a little bit extra work here in the save file to get it to serialize correctly, but in the long run, it will definitely be worth it. And again, like if we want, there's quick little encryption algorithms you can do if you want to be able to hide the save file, but I'm not sure it'll be that important. Because the save file won't have any... I guess the only bad thing that could happen is you could edit your save file and try to load in. But I think if you did that, one of the other players would actually catch that you were cheating. Because of the way I'm going to write the system, so... So let's get this path real quick. Okay, so I think... How do I want to name it? I mean, we could just increment a counter. I think it... There should be like some... like a battle name, probably. Okay, let's call it file name. Okay, so now I need... it's battle class. Alright, so if... okay, so what we actually need to do is like the battle name and then a turn number, which we already have right there. So it'll be string format. Okay, yeah, somewhere we'll have the file path for saves, but I'll just make it a constant right now. Okay, so it can't be a constant actually, but so application. Okay, so I forget. Which folder you're supposed to use here. So, I guess it could be the streaming assets path. No, streaming assets is like for us, like for the mods. Let's see. Let me look and see what best practices is. So Unity path for save files. So let's assume a data path. That doesn't seem right to me. Application persistent data path, what they're saying. Okay. Let's use that persistent data path. So path dot combine and I don't know, saves. So if I wanted it to just go not in the assets, but let's see. I wanted to go here in like some save file. I guess there's not a really easy way to do that. I'm going to be running. Yeah, so maybe I should do it just in streaming assets, even though it'll be kind of weird. Because I want there to be a separate folder for both the game and like a separate standalone players. Or maybe this is the data path is the best idea. The data path is going to put it in the assets, which is a little strange, but at least then it'll be separate for now. Obviously in the final game I want to be able to set this to like something in the my documents folder, but okay, so first if directory exists path equals false, then we'll want to create it. Okay. So now we do return string format. So save. So the battle name and then turn number. Maybe we should also put the username of the player. Okay, so battle dot. Okay, so now we also need a local connection. So you get the username of the player. Components get local connection. That's not what's supposed to happen there. Alright. Okay, so first is the username, so local c.username, and then the battle.file name and the battle turn number. Okay, so that's all done. So now this map controller, we need to create new objects. So save file compiler and save file writer. And then at some point we need to actually save all the files. So when do we increment the turn? This is the flow manager right here. Yeah, because here it's after the status of phase ended, that's the end of a turn. So it's checking the battle win state. Okay, so yeah, and then here it starts a new turn, so let's edit void. Let's actually call it something like end turn, or I don't know, finalized turn sounds better. So what we would do, battle, so we increment the turn number, and then we'll need to get the callback. So save, okay, so it's actually just a command. And this is controller game, oh no, not game, it's controller parent components get or register map components, create save file. Okay, let me just call this down here. So that should work. I guess let's see what happens. It's going to be empty because we don't set anything. For instance, the battle log is going to stay empty. And then where's the test battle generator? I'll just add some let's see, battle file name, let's be test. And this is going to, yeah, we're pretty soon going to need to scrap this because if we want to load a battle from a file, we're going to need to have actual logic for it. So let's, now we don't need to worry about connecting a second player for the time being, so we'll just use an AI. Okay, so what's this problem? Battle log. It doesn't? So it's saying the battle log does not contain definition for start players, but it does. Oh, did it do the thing where it copied the file again? Alright, so I need to go here and delete this battle log because it's empty. So now it's not complaining. Alright, we're not going to build the player because we're just going to do single player for now. Okay, so I already got an error component not registered. Map controller. So save file compiler 17. Let's look and see what that is. Oh, the battle log. So I'll just create a dummy battle log here as well. So controller. Let's do it this way. controller game components, register. I don't need to do that. Int global comps. Okay, and then let's just create some objects in here. Start players equals new. So start players 0 equals. It doesn't even actually have any data, but just so that there's something in there to save. Okay, so we got start players, start monsters. Start field. Okay, and the start actions is a little different, so hey AG1XYT. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I really appreciate you for coming by and watching. Okay, well, I'll check it out later. Let's add a couple save actions. Oh yeah, I can see it, but yeah, well, Twitch, you can't post links in chat. Alright, so let's see how this works now. So if we move one turn, okay, so no errors, so that's always a good sign. Alright, so where is the save file? Interesting, I don't see the save file, even though it should have written one. Maybe I should print out this file path. Did it actually? Oh, I think I know what I did. Let's see, so on the flow controller, I think I forgot to call the endTurn function, so yeah, right here. Let's try this one more time. Okay, so this is a combining file mode read with create new is invalid. Oh, what's this game? Well, that was the map. The little hexagons were the blocks and the capsules were the players, but oh, it's not published yet because it's pretty has a lot of work to go. Okay, so what I need to do, let's see, file writer. Oh well, yeah, I left this as read. It's supposed to be write. so now it looks like it worked. Oh, and here's the saves file, but nothing in it. That is weird. Let's try moving again. Okay, so it's printing the file name, but nothing's actually getting saved, so am I doing something wrong? Thanks for following, AG, I appreciate it. Huh. Yeah, so it prints this line but it doesn't seem to serialize correctly. Can you have early access? Well, I mean, you can't really do anything in it yet. You can just click, but pretty soon I should make the game available to everyone. Okay, this is basically all you can do. Just move those two things back and forth. Yeah, it needs a lot of work, but we're getting there. So I'm not sure why the save files aren't being created. I'm trying to find the... Oh yeah, it's the save editor, testgen 3. Oh, I know why. They are being created, but I need to add the file path to the beginning of this. So path, combine, folder path. Okay, and actually, I wonder where it created those objects, since I didn't actually put the file path. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're right here. I guess that's not so bad. We can see, yeah, it's just all empty right now. But at least it did generate a file. Okay, so now if I'll just go ahead and delete these. And we'll try again, but see if it saves it in the right place. It didn't. Let's see. Yeah, that's the right path. Well, for some reason it alternates slashes, not that it really matters a whole lot. Oh no, there it is right there. It just took a while to show up. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Oh, sorry, AG. Just to prevent spam, Twitch just hides all the chat links. Oh no. Okay, so I've got a couple minutes. So I guess we still got a bit more to do here. Although, got the beginnings of it. So I guess we can start thinking about how we'll load a file. Probably Where did I put the test params object? Will the game cost money? Probably not at this point. I'm still trying to decide. I might try to make like a story mode at the end. And that might be paid, but I want to at least make the battle system free. Let's see. Alright, this is what I was looking for. I want to find where I put this class because I can't find it. This is... Oh, it's right here. Okay. So... we should have, I guess, a string right here. That would be load file. And then in the lobby, I guess it'd actually be in the loading, the asset loading controller. Okay, yeah, because that's another thing we have to add into the save file. It also needs to have the lobby parameters. Let's see. So basically all this information, which right now is just the slots. So this is the stuff as the battle in the battle. And this will be lobby params slot. And this of course tells like what if the players are AI and which ones are taken, so on. And then of course this will also show all the mods and things, but we don't have that yet. I wonder, we might not even need to have a separate client slot because we can kinda get that out of players. But we will need to have like mods and things, so we'll worry about that in the future. Okay, so let's see. We did save a file, so now we need to do load a file in the lobby to create the lobby params, and then load a file in loading to get. Okay, well I guess let's, yeah, because we get all that information from the lobby params, and then loading to build the battle. And also the battle log, and then we'll have to simulate actions, but it won't be too difficult. Okay, so we finished saving, so that's good. Okay, so we'll do this tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be able to finish that. And then I guess we'll test this reconnection. Server timers. That won't be that difficult. It's mostly just the server will run a timer in each phase, and then if the timer runs out, it will just force players to keep going. It's to stop a client from stalling everyone. This is just if a client disconnects, then you can change them into an AI. so you don't have to wait for them to reconnect. Okay, this is just error handling. Okay, and then yeah, this, everyone needs to exit to the lobby if the host crashes. So we've got a little bit more netcode, but we're finally getting through it, and then I think we'll be able to start on mods. And I really want to get some actually good looking art in here too. At least start on it, so that might be what we do right after we finish mod loading. Although I'm going to need to brush up on my 3D modeling skills. But yeah, I think that's it for today. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming by and chatting. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 Eastern, and we'll continue working on this. If you didn't get to see the whole stream, you can follow my YouTube. There's a link in my channel description, and I post all my streams there. This one should be up in about an hour. Yeah, feel free to follow to be notified, of course, when I come live, and I hope to see you then. Alright, bye bye.